Yes, just switching this on here. Hi there. Just get myself wired up. Hope everyone's good. So we've got a little bit of a challenging flow practice this morning. The challenges you can take or leave, modify, and there'll be some options to suit most people. A couple of things to bear in mind is any sensitivity with your knees. You might want to certainly get a blanket, and that's something I would recommend for this class. But two, also, you might need to opt out as there's one particular movement that you might find isn't tolerable at all, and so you can just leave it out. That's fine. No problem whatsoever. Good to see a good few of you joining in this morning. Okay, just check the sound is looking good. I can just see it here, I think. Oh, maybe it's not good. I can't tell. Oh, no, it's fine. Okay. So come and join me. We'll start in a sitting position. You might even want to use your blanket folded to prop the hips up, get a little bit of height. Cross-legged maybe. And sit tall, rest the hands, lift the chest, balance the head, and maybe close the eyes. And this is a really nice way, simply sitting, really nice way to get prepared and to tune in. Slow down what might have been your busy morning. Or if you're lucky enough to be working at home and this is your break, if you're lucky enough to have a break, maybe taking a few moments to let some of that other stuff, the stuff that goes on in real life, subside for a few moments. So settling in, maybe close the eyes and steady out the breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. Feel the breath is long, it's full, and it's slow. Not taking your time with that breathing pattern. And certainly with this being a more challenging or stronger practice, you will need your breath. I mean, we need our breath all the time, right? But we need to be able to breathe fully and with a certain amount of control, which can be one of the hardest parts of a stronger yoga practice, especially as we're moving the body in challenging ways. Sometimes the breath is the first thing to go. And when I say go, what I mean is it might feel like it's hard to breathe, or you might be tempted to hold your breath. And I usually say it a lot anyway, it's just something that I naturally say, but you will be reminded to observe your breath, come back to your breath, and to keep breathing. And notice where your breath is today at this point, in this starting point. And then we're going to stay here, and you can even keep the eyes closed if you can trust how you're going to follow along. Really simply interlace the fingers behind your back, knuckles outwards so the palms are close together, they don't have to actually touch. Roll the shoulder heads back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then see if you can extend your hands and arms out behind. So your arms begin to straighten out more, which might also mean your hands lifting away from your hips. And still breathing here with that fullness, the slowness. And you may have seen the title of the session today is back bending. There'll be some back bends. It's not just back bends, but there will be an element of getting the shoulders ready for back bending. So this is a great start. So notice how your shoulders feel. And then releasing. And as you release your hands and arms, releasing your sitting position as well. So we're going to come up onto the hands and knees. And you can now switch over the blanket so it supports your knees if it's useful. Always feel free to use the blanket whenever you need a little bit of support. It's the most used prop and most versatile prop that we have. So wrists underneath the shoulders. With the hands shoulder width apart, give yourself some space around your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And instead of doing cat and cow, which you could do and you're welcome to, but I want you to try circling the hips, circling the pelvis, which of course has also an element of arching and rounding the spine. So we'll go in two directions. So keep going one way a few times just to get the hips nice and warm around your lower back. At the same time, keep the arms straight to create a widening effect across the upper back, between the space of the shoulders. Let's circle the other way. And just see if you can get warmer, a little bit warmer around your lower back area, around the hips. Keeping the arms straight if you can. Okay, we're going to add into this now a little foot stretch, ankle stretch, toe stretch as well for some of you. And this is the one that might be a bit tricky for the knees. So instead of actually kneeling on the blanket, my suggestion would be to bring the blanket underneath the tops of the feet. So yeah, might not be good for everybody for knees. So see if this is appropriate for you. Might not be. Try to have the feet pointing directly back rather than curling the foot in one direction. Quite often people's ankles or feet turn inwards. So if you can track the foot in line with the ankle and the knee, in theory, because it's not as simple as that. Our feet might not be able to do that. Our ankles might not allow that. Both sides, and sit back on the heels. Okay, so the tops of the soles of the feet, should I say, are facing the sky and the tops of the feet pressing down into the blanket. Now, check the knees are happy here. It might not be appropriate. So you're going to start to roll or lean back into your hands, and you can choose how far you go with this, and you might already feel a stretch from sitting upright, never mind leaning back. The stretch could be in the thighs quite significantly, but the focus actually, and it's not just the thighs, is the ankles and the feet here. So pressing into the hands, working with the stretch here, and you might also want to lift your knees. And of course, as your knees go higher, you're getting more ankle stretch. It turns more ankle work than thighs when the knees start to lift, and see how that feels. And this is just for a few breaths rather than holding it here for a very long time. And just to warm the ankles, see how the ankles feel. It's not essential to do this posture. And then releasing to bring yourself back upright. Now reach forward to the top of your mat with your hands. So your fingers are pretty much to the top of the mat, out in front. And then step your left knee slightly forward. In fact, you could even use your blanket here. So we're basically going to do tabletop with the left knee underneath the hip, but now extend through the right leg. And instead of tucking the toes under, we're going to stay with the top of the foot on the mat. So press into the toenail side of the toes, the top of the foot, and point the toes backwards. Again, try to get the toes facing directly behind, and then try and straighten the leg as well. So pressing down through the toenails, the toes, ankles, working, stretching, and right leg active. So make the right thigh firm, pull in the kneecap. And then releasing to the second side, of course. So tuck. Oh no, don't tuck. That's a habit of mine. Untuck. Have the top of the foot on the floor. I knew I was going to say that. Try to have the foot facing backwards, directly in line with your leg as much as you can, and then firm up the leg. Make the left leg active, press down through the toenails. top of the foot pressing into the mat, or most of it, if not, maybe not all of it, depending on how flexible your ankles are. And if you're finding as you're doing this that you can't get the foot in this position and it's too intense, then that's okay. Don't force the body to do anything. This is just a useful stretch for one of the postures we're coming into, but it's not essential. And certainly bear this all in mind when you come towards the postures that are a little bit more challenging. Okay, we're going to release the left side. And we're going to walk the knees back again. Maybe blanket is useful. So your feet are towards the back end, but you're reaching your hands past your shoulders. So puppy dog pose, or half dog sometimes called, hips and over the knees, and pressing the chest towards the floor. Now, active arms, press down through the hands. So we talked about shoulders at the very beginning. We're working to warm up the shoulders here. Steady breaths, pretty firm pressing action with the hands in order to widen this across the shoulders. So outer arms rolling down towards the floor. It's like, not quite, but almost like your inner elbows are turning towards the ceiling, but without bending your elbows. Pressing the chest down. Pulling your lower front ribs in. If you're very flexible, make sure your lower front ribs pull in towards your spine. Pull upwards towards your spine. And then from here, we're going to release. So bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. And taking that strong sensation out of the shoulder heads here. Now let's tuck the toes and move simply into downward dog. So lifting the hips, lifting the knees, pressing the chest back. And steady breath. So check in with the shoulders again. Notice how your shoulders are, how your arms feel, and feel like you can create lots and lots of length and space down the side body. So really press into the baby finger side edge of your hands. I mean, pressing through the whole hand, but notice the baby finger side and feel like you can lengthen down the side of the arms, down the side of the shoulders, on the side of the chest and waist, into the hip. And let's walk or pedal the dog, alternating, bending, stretching the legs and warming through the toes in a different way. So pedaling the feet and extending the legs, alternating with the hamstrings too. And then from here, what I'd like you to do is walk the hands back so that you can stand on the feet only, and the hands can either be down on the floor or floating. Bend the knees, soften upper body down, in towards your thighs, upper body towards your thighs. Relax the neck, release the arms. Let the shoulders drop towards the ears and let the back of the chest slightly round or dome as you find a little bit of width between your shoulder blades without the active effort to do so. So widen across the back of the chest. And then begin to rise up, begin to gently come to stand. Bringing yourself all the way up, and the head at the top of the breath. Okay, now let's move that blanket. If you have a blanket, you don't need that for a little while. Standing tall, you should be at the back of your mat. Feet hip width apart, reach the shoulders down and back, fingertips towards the floor. And extend through the spine without arching your back. Lower front ribs draw in. Long, spacious spine. Inhale, reach up with the arms. Exhale, folding again. So folding down, reaching towards the floor, might not be the floor, tuck the chin. And then halfway gaze forward, elongate the spine. Then we're going to crawl back to the top of the mat with the hands. So bringing your wrists under your shoulders for a high plank position. You can hover in chaturanga or you can come all the way to the floor, but we are going to come all the way to the floor eventually anyway. So breathe in and breathe out. Descend, slowly descending, whichever route you're taking to get there. You can hover for a moment if you want to. Untuck the toes. So like we did with that extended leg position, press the toenails into the floor. Press into the floor with the top of the foot so that you can activate the leg. So remember that firming leg action. Create that now. You might feel the buttocks tighten here. And now take your hands probably off your mat, just so they're wider than your shoulders, and I've come onto the fingertips. Give yourself lots of space around your shoulders. Let the elbows fly wide. Inhale, hop forward and pull the shoulders down from the ears. Now you don't have to come up high, but just create spaciousness around the chest. Inhale. And exhale, lower down. Keep the hands in place. We're going to repeat that movement 2 more times. Shoulders, elbows wide, shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale. Shoulder blades squeeze in, heart forward. And exhale. Remember to keep the shoulders down from the ears. Shoulder blades squeeze in. Inhale. And then exhale. Now let the head rest. You can come chin or forehead down. And now release the hands. Interlace the fingers behind, knuckles outwards, as if the palms are together but not necessarily touching. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Maybe lift the hands. Doesn't matter how high they lift. Doesn't matter if your arms don't go straight. Press down through the top side of the foot. Firm legs, firm buttocks. Inhale. So the chest is lifting, but you want to feel like your heart is moving forward. So there's a lengthening. Holding the posture, still breathing for 2 more breaths. And then exhale, releasing. Hands, palms under shoulders, tuck the toes. And now you can press up either into plank or move, and then into downward dog, or move straight into downward dog. So depending on how strong you are, and what your practice offers, eventually we'll all arrive in the same place, in downward dog. Pressing the chest back, arms straight. Inner elbow towards the sky, outer shoulders towards the mat. Inhale, lift the right leg, extend the leg high, point the toes. Look forward, step the right foot between the hands, lower the left knee. In fact, this is where you could use your blanket again if you want to. It's really up to you. Keep the left knee down. And then lift up through the upper body. Take hold of your left elbow with your right hand and use the right hand to pull the elbow over the shoulder. So as if you could get your left elbow and upper arm vertical, and that left hand is sort of walking gently to the space between the shoulder blades. So the left palm is facing the shoulder blades. And then try and keep your head upright. So for me, I have to push quite hard back actually into the left arm to keep the head upright. So you can stay here. Or second option is to release the right hand and swim the right hand towards the left fingers. And the bottom hand palm faces outwards, the left top hand faces inwards to the chest. You could connect the fingers, don't worry if that doesn't happen. Keep the head face gazing forward. And then exhale, we're going to release the hands either side of the foot. Step back to high plank and then lower all the way down to the floor. So this time coming into a traditional cobra, palms under shoulders. Inhale, heart forward. Elbows usually bent, shoulders from the ears. Exhale as you lower down. Press back. Either plank and then downward dog, or straight in to downward dog. Inhale, lift the left leg, point the toes, look forward. Exhale, left foot between the hands, right knee down. Second side, same thing, low in the hips. Find your balance. Obviously, opposite arm, right? Hand and arm is up, left hand connects the elbow. Try to bring that upper right arm to a vertical position as you can. Press the head back, reach the right palm to the space of the shoulder blades. And then you can stay here, or second option is to swim the left hand up, left palm out, right palm in. Maybe connect the hands, don't worry if they don't. Reaffirm, head gaze forward. As you exhale, release both hands down and step back to high plank position. And slowly lower. And again, cobra. Inhale, heart forward. You might get a bit more space, maybe a little bit higher. Not essential to do so. And exhale, press back to downward dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Point toes, step forward with the right foot between the hands. Stay lifted on the left. Keep the left knee lifted this time. Coming up gradually and gently. Find your balance. And then bring your right arm on the inside of your right knee or thigh. You're almost turning a little bit to your left with your upper body. But you want to stay nice and balanced here. So press the outer right arm into the knee. Reach up through your left arm. And turn the chest to the left and lean over to the right. So you're leaning to the right side with your shoulders, your left hand's reaching across, and you're gently turning leftwards. Back leg straight, firm. We're going to release the left hand down to the inside of that right foot and spin the other way. Turn to the right, reaching the right arm back, spin around the spine. Turning the chest and spine really helps to warm up for back bends. Rolling that right shoulder back. And then exhale, hands down. Now you can vinyasa however you prefer. You can skip and go to downward dog. You can stay chaturanga and you can move into upward dog. Perhaps exhale to downward dog. Left side, inhale, lift, left point, left toes, exhale, step the foot forward and through. Find your balance. Start to rise up. Okay, left arm on the inside of the left leg or knee. Turn to the right. Press firm with the arm. And that's going to help you stabilize and not wobble over. Hopefully, reach up to your right side. Lean over to your left. Remember, you're trying to turn slightly to the right, but lean to the left. Press into the left leg with your arm. Back leg is firm. Releasing the right hand down. Keep the back leg firm as you twist to your left. Twist around the other way. Turn the chest. And then exhale, release the left hand down. Let's step back and vinyasa. Inhale on the way up. Exhale on the way back. It's a little bit of a different move coming up. Inhale, lift the right leg, extend. Exhale, step the right foot forward even. Now, we're going to have the back knee down. It might be useful to have the back knee on a blanket again. Okay. We're going to stay in this low, kind of a semi-low lunge position. Technically, I suppose it's not, because actually we're going to play around with extending the leg with the top of the foot on the floor. So untuck the left toes, try and track the foot directly out behind. It's worth keeping the hands low initially and see how you feel. Press into the foot, extend the leg, make your leg really firm. In fact, you could even use a blanket under the left foot, right, if you needed to. But you're coming off the floor with the knee, but you're not going really high as you would with a high lunge. Now, if you feel good, you might want to interlace the fingers, press the palms away, lift the chest, reach the baby fingers back. You can keep the hands low if you need. Back leg is really firm, really press down through the back foot, the back toes. Big breath in, and then exhale, reaching down, stepping back. Maybe downward dog or vinyasa. We'll prepare for the second side. No rush if you're still moving. I'll take an extra breath here. Inhale, lift the left leg. Point the toes, look forward, step up. Bring the right knee down to the floor. Find your balance. Untuck the back toes. Press down through the back foot. And then again, extending out through the back leg as much as you can. You can keep the hands low, or you could interlace again. Palms press away for this one. Baby fingers back. Chest forward. Heart lifting, spine lengthening, active back leg. Inhale. Exhale as you release. Hands down. Step back. And maybe vinyasa. If you skip the last one, you might want to continue every other movement, every other flow. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Step the right foot forward. Actually, we don't need the blanket now, so you can move that out of the way. Extend the back leg, make the back leg high in its traditional form. Back toes lifted. Oh, sorry, the back knee, back toes tucked. The back knee is lifted. Okay, back leg is firm. Interlace the fingers. This time, palms pressing together if you can. Again, straighten out the arms. Oh, just going to wobble over there. Straighten out the arms. Lift the chest. And then we're going to move into warrior three. So take your time to balance. Try to keep the hips facing forward. And you can lift your hands from your hips. Keep the gaze forward. I don't know if my head's off the camera. The head gaze is forward rather than down. Exhale as you release the hands down. Lift the left leg as high as you can. Fold into the right leg. And then begin to step back with the left foot behind. Now, let's bring the left hand just slightly, wrist slightly forward of your left shoulder. Okay. We're going to rotate to the right as if we're going to do a twisted lunge, which you could stay at if you want to. Or if you're feeling good, you're going to roll onto the outer edge of the back foot and bring that right foot up and over so the right foot is on flat on the floor. Then lift up through the hips. So you could take Wild Thing or stay in a twist. Chest lifted. You can do whatever you prefer with your arms, actually. I like to reach over and back. And then as you release, you're going to step into a high plank position. And you can vinyasa or move into downward dog. Let's go second side. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, step the foot forward and through. High lunge. This is where we're going to interlace the fingers behind again. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the chest, lift the hands. Long spine. You don't have to go to that balance position if you're not ready for these balances. But of course you can make it less intense by having the right foot slightly lower down. Take your time to transition to bring your chest forward and lift the right leg. And part of this posture is to keep the arms active. So the shoulders roll back, and that's helping you keep the chest lifted, the gaze forward. Again, if you can't see my head, I'm gazing forward rather than down. Shoulders forward, chest forward, head forward. And then we're going to slowly release to bring that right foot down, back behind, out behind, right hand down, wrist slightly forward of your right shoulder. Roll to either stay in this twist, roll the left shoulder back, or roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. Keep the hips up. Step the left foot behind, and then lift the hips up for Wild Thing on the second side. Chest lifts. Heart open. Little back bend, or big back bend actually. Active arms, active leg. And then slowly release to high plank position. And then you might want to vinyasa here. And lower down. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you press back. So downward dog. Inhale, bring the shoulders over wrists. And exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Okay. So from here, bring the hands, you can scoot back slightly, bring the hands behind the back of the body again. So chin or forehead down. Interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as per the past posture. Lift the hands. And now make the legs straight. Pushing the tops of the feet to the floor. But bear in mind, we're going to lift the feet. So you want to make the legs active, regardless of the fact that the floor isn't going to be there in a moment. So firm thighs, firm, straight legs. Let's go chest first. Inhale, lift the chest. Heart forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then without bending your knees, float the feet. Float the feet. Steady breaths. Chest and legs lifted. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale. Lower all the way down. Release your arms and legs. Turn the head to the right side. Relax the neck and head. Shoulders relaxed. Relax the lower back and legs. And again, bring the head to center. Instead of repeating that posture, we're going to add on. But if this second part is too hard, stay with the first option. Okay. See if you can hold both hands either to the tops of the feet, the toes, the ankles, or you could even reach down to the lower part of the shins if it's easier. If you can't actually hold your legs or your feet, you could, if you've got longer, wider trousers on, leggings on, or whatever you're wearing, you might be able to grasp hold of the fabric. Or if you're handy, have a belt handy, you can wrap a belt around the ankles to connect. You don't have to connect, okay? First of all, draw the heels in towards the buttocks and see how the thighs feel. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Elbows move high and squeeze inwards as well. And then heart forward to lift the chest. So lifting the chest first, squeeze the shoulder blades back, upper outer arms back. And then feel like you're lifting your feet and hands where they connect. If you have got them connected, that point is going to go upwards. So lifting upwards, hands and feet. Steady breaths. Don't worry if your thighs don't lift off the floor. And then exhale, release, and release the arms, legs, and turn the head to the left side. Relax the shoulders, the back and the legs. Okay, we're going to move up onto the hands and knees. So gradually bring yourself back up. And you might want to use your blanket here. Again, we're going to be kneeling. Okay. I would say slightly back from the middle of your mat with your blanket or where your knees are going to be. So you have enough space to have your left toes tucked under and now have your right leg extended out in front. So you're going to have your right leg extended forward, but see that your pelvis is still over your left knee. Now point the right toes. You might find that you can't get the toes down to the floor. That's okay. Keep extending, reaching forward, even if the toes don't touch. So the right leg is straight. Okay. And we're going to lengthen up through the spine. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm elongating the spine. And then inhale, lift the left arm up. So lifting, extend through the left side of the body. And begin to almost lean back, but emphasize the lengthening action. So lifting upwards with the chest. Ooh, press down through your right leg foot so you don't wobble over. Long spine. Now, if you feel good, and you might not, so you don't want to have to hold this if you don't want to, you could reach your left hand towards that left heel. Hence the reason the back toes are tucked, because it's easier to reach. Heart forward, extend your right leg forward, and then reach your right arm up. Options, you don't have to take all these options here. Heart forward. This is a challenging sort of blended camel posture. And it means you can't lean back too much because the right leg, which is great because actually you want to elongate the spine. We're going to release by bringing the right hand to the hip. Slowly bring the left hand to the hip, bend the right knee. And then releasing gradually to bring your right knee back level with your left knee. Bring the hands to the floor, the wrists under the shoulders. Circle the hips and pelvis again. And just see how we feel. I'm going to do the second side in a minute. Then circle the other way with the pelvis. And then we'll repeat second side. Left foot forward. Of course, out in front. But remember to keep your pelvis or your right hip, especially over your your right knee. So you're creating a vertical line with the upper body as much as you can. It might deviate slightly from that. Right toes are tucked underneath. Back toes tucked under. Left leg is straight if you can. Keeping it as straight as you can You might need to bend it if you need to, but rebalance or adjust yourself here. Okay. Go right arm up. And even if you're not doing a full back bend and the hand doesn't reach down behind you, this is your lengthening action. Long, long, long spine, chest lifting. Once you've got a nice lift, you might feel that you've got the confidence to bring the hand back slightly, the shoulder back slightly. It doesn't have to look like that today. There's definitely a posture you warm up to. You don't go in here cold. Maybe reach the right hand back. You don't have to. It's a long way down there. Shoulders squeeze together. Maybe left arm up. You don't have to go with the arms here if you're not ready to. But heart forward. Your hips stay forward. Because of the left leg, your hips stay forward. Steady breaths. If you can, it's quite tricky to breathe evenly in a back bend. Bring the left hand back to the hip. And bend your left knee as you bring your right hand back to your hip. And then lowering the hands down to bring both knees back behind gradually. Let's bring the wrists forward now underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes for our final plank or final chaturanga. So lowering gradually down to the mat. Inhale, heart forward, however you prefer. And exhale to downward dog. From here, we're going to come to the floor and have a seat, almost a seat actually. We're going to travel to lay down. So step up the feet, cross the ankles or shins, walk the hands back, come down to the mat with your pelvis roughly in the middle as you lay down on your back. Okay, get yourself comfortable around your head and your shoulders. We're going to work with the legs and lower back area before relaxation. Okay, so start off with the knees bent, feet flat to the floor, and now extend the right leg so the right heel kicks towards the sky. You can hold the back of the thigh. Try to get the leg as straight as you can. Or you can hold the foot with the right hand. You could hold the toe or foot anywhere around the foot. If you've got the scope, draw that right leg in closer towards your upper body. So wherever your hands are placed, in fact, it might be worth having both hands on the foot. If you can, you could hold both hands to the leg instead. Leg is extended or straight. And then draw the forehead towards the shin. It doesn't have to touch. And the shin towards the forehead. 2 actions. So you're lifting the head and shoulders. And then slowly lowering head and shoulders back down to bend your right knee. Place the right foot to the floor. Second side. Extend up through the left heel. Support the leg with the hands. And then reaching both hands or connecting both hands firmly so that you can begin to draw the head to the shin, shin to the head. If you've got the head up quite high or the shoulders lifted quite a lot, your elbows can move wider to widen across the back of the chest. The left leg as straight as you can. And then slowly releasing head and shoulders. Let's take a little pause. Pause from the active stretching here and bring the feet wide as your mat. Let the knees knock in. Bring the hands to the groin. So the crease of the hip where the thigh and the hip pelvis meet. Let the shoulders and arms rest. So feet are wide, knees in. Soften the belly, groins. And slow the breath down. Feel that you can encourage the back of the body just really gently and not really through an effort, but an awareness. The back of the pelvis widen, back of the pelvis widen. As if you could encourage the sacrum to drop slightly lower towards the mat. Sacrum is the back of the pelvis rather than, it's part of the spine, but it's not in the lumbar region, so it's below the lumbar. So we're not forcing the lower back down, but just allowing the back of the pelvis to grow heavier and wider. Heavier and wider. And with that in mind, the next posture is a little bit more strenuous, I guess. If you want to stay where you are here, this is great. Does the trick. But the second part is a little bit, the second posture is another way to do the same thing with the more active element. So cross your right thigh over your left thigh. If you can, above your knees. If you can't go above your knees, you can still do the posture. You can cross the shins instead. Okay, you're going to reach and hold, if you can, the outer edges of each foot with each hand, opposite hand, of course, because you cross the legs over. And think about the back of the pelvis or sacrum dropping down. So keep it connected to the mat. And if you've got the scope, the feet can move higher. I can't remember the name of this posture. I often call it the handlebars posture. That's why I can't remember it, because I've given it another name in my head. And as a result, the proper name has gone. I suppose I don't know. So the feet are moving high and wide, back of the pelvis dropping down. I suppose it could be, that's what I was going to say, cow face pose, Kamakasana, probably is a version of that. Back of the pelvis down, back of the pelvis down. And then release, so we're going to crisscross the other way, opposite thigh left over right, or shin over. If you can't get the knees to cross, then again holding the outer edges of the feet. If you can, if you've got the scope, the feet go higher and wider, as well as hug in. I never said that. So they pull in towards your upper body, and your knees pull in towards your upper body too. Stay heavy, heavy in the pelvis, heavy in the back of your sacrum. Steady breaths. This is a really great way to release the back after those back bends. And the back strengtheners. So if you feel a little bit tired in the lower back, the next few days, we did some strengthening work there, the locust posture, the swan balance. And of course, the camel or variation of camel, which was an extension of the spine around the lower back, can be quite tough as well. So let's release the legs. And we'll bring the feet to the floor. Heels slightly forward of your hips. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees naturally drop wide, relaxing wide for a few breaths. And then we've got one more posture before relaxation. And we're going to bring the knees together, lift the feet, let the legs drop over to the left. As you reach your arms wide, if you've got the space, encourage the right shoulder to drop down and rest your left hand on that top leg. So your left hand resting on the right thigh or knee. Not to pull it down, but just to relax it here and encourage the legs to drop. Turn the head to the right shoulder down as well, towards the right. Steady breaths. And then releasing back to the middle with the legs. Keep the legs together as much as you can. Remember, feet are lifted. Let the legs drop to the second right side and then settle in on the left side. Turn the head as well to the left. Oh, the last few breaths. And your right hand is just a little anchor to keep your left leg heavy. Back bends are an energizing practice. They're a great thing to do in the day, in the morning. Nighttime might be easier in one sense because you're more open, you're warmed up more, but it's less relaxing. This is a great way to pep up your day. Get the spine moving, get the spinal cord active, firing on all cylinders. Okay, so let's release onto the back of the body and hug the legs in. Any way you wish, hug the legs in. You might even want to lift the nose to the knees, so the knees to the nose, both together for a few breaths. So don't hold your breath here. And then begin to release, to let the head and shoulders drop down. Bring the feet down. You can have the feet flat to the floor with the knees bent, however you wish, or you might want to extend your legs out now. Feel free to bring your blanket over the top. Have some space for your legs so your thighs can roll away from each other, and some space for your arms so that biceps roll back and down towards the mat. Shoulder heads drop back. So turn the palms upwards. Relax the palms, the fingers, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the neck. Let the head feel heavy. Relaxing the face, relaxing the face. Relaxing the base of your throat down. Relaxing the lower ribs, all the lower ribs, front, sides, back, all drop down. The belly button drop back. The buttocks relax. Relax the groin. Relax the base of your pelvis. Relax the thighs, the knees, the ankles. All of the toes. All of the toes. The whole body relaxed. The whole body relaxed. Your whole body is still, but the whole body's alive, energized, full of life and vibrancy. Quite often that sense of being alive isn't perceptible, like the physical sense of feeling aliveness in the cells and in the organs, in the skin, the bones, is not perceptible because we're too busy doing other things. Of course, that's normal. But whilst you're taking your Shavasana, see if you can tune in to that sense of aliveness. Maybe some parts of the body are not more alive, but more you're able to read that more, you're able to read that easier, more perceptible, more sensitive tissues, the hands and the feet, the face. Maybe the arms, we did a little bit of arm work, the shoulders, or maybe it's around the lower back and your thighs. The whole body alive from head to toe, and every single minute cell in between. pulsing energy. Pulsing with the life force that is you. And notice the breath settling down. You might also notice a heartbeat or your pulse slowing down gradually. Finding an easiness and ease of breath. Body is free to breathe. Full spaciousness of your chest, your lungs. Allowing your perception of sounds to come back in. Notice sounds around your home, around in your space, maybe other people or nature. Noticing the sounds of the world continuing on. Allow your awareness to trace through your body and remember the space of the body and the size of the body, the depth of your body, the span of the body on your mat. Feeling your body in your space, your body taking up that space. And begin to gently move in that space, so moving the fingers and moving the toes. Awareness moving up the arms and up the legs. As you're laid here, when you're ready, begin to move each of the limbs, all of the limbs, in turn, to bend the elbows and bend the knees. Drawing the knees into your chest. Gently rocking side to side, with the legs slightly just over each side to massage the back into the floor. And then we'll roll over to one side. And gradually bring yourself up. Coming up to a sitting position. Sit tall, wake up fully. Bring the palms to the chest. Thank you for your practice. Have a great day. Namaste.